this is where it's at. High stepping through the front, got me lounging in the back, celebrating with the team, tell the DJ run it back. I've been getting money, ho, grinding with my kinfolk, riding in the Benzo, sitting on Lorenzo's.
Look, I'm already starting the show off, and it's starting it off all crazy, man. Welcome to another episode of the Commissioner's Recap. That's right, it's season 2, episode 1, and we kicking it off the right way, you know, with the love way. You see, I'm a little bit dressed up right now. I got to give a big shout out to my brother Wills. You know, I just left his funeral service of my brother Wills. He lost his mother. So I want to send out love to my brother Wills. I love you, my brother. I know this is a difficult time for you right now, but I want you to know that, you know, I'm there for you and I got your back. You know what I'm saying? 100%. But once again, everybody, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Commissioner's Recap. I was going to cancel today. I ain't going to hold you. I was going to cancel, but I was like, nah, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, a great outlet for me is talking about boxing as well as music. You know what I'm saying? Music's a great outlet for me as well. And everybody know I got my song Trill out right now. You heard the song on the intro, but it's out now. And I also got my song Topic of Discussion out now. It's going to be out on my album, The Commissioner. I seem like I'm a little off today, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. Like I said, you know, there's a lot going on, you know, with the family and stuff like that. But, you know, I had to lock in with you guys, and we had to chop it up about boxing, you know. Shout out to Terrence Bud Crawford. You know, he just had his parade in Omaha. You know, I thought that was dope. I thought it was dope that everybody came out to celebrate TC and his monumental victory against Canelo Alvarez. There was a lot of people that doubted him or didn't think that he would be able to, you know, win against the bigger guy. I was actually one of those guys. I said that, you know, I was picking Canelo because, you know, for size, you know, I was always taught, you know, they made weight classes for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And TC defied all that logic, you know, because I did also said that if anybody can do it, TC can do it because he has the skills. I was just afraid of the size, and he just showed that the size didn't matter. A lot of people don't want to give him credit for this victory, but I said everybody better. You know, I was one of the people that said that everybody better give TC his flowers for this victory if he was able to beat Canelo Alvarez, which he did. You know what I'm saying? Which he did. So shout out to Terrence Bud Crawford. And it's dope that he's been getting the love that he's been getting. You know, there's been actually a lot of debate going on, which it seems to be unwarranted to me, right? There's a lot of debate going on. I've been noticing a lot of comparisons people have been trying to make between Floyd Money Mayweather and Terrence Bud Crawford. You know, a lot of people have been trying to make comparisons and debate about who's better and this and that. I mean, this is boxing. I guess that's what people are going to do. But I just think both fighters are great in their own way, you know, in their own way. And they did it their own way. Like Money Mayweather did it his own way. He got 2 Hall of Fame careers. I done said this before on this show before. You know, he got 2 Hall of Fame careers. You know, one as Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather, and one as Money Mayweather, you know. And Terrence Bud Crawford, you know, what can you say about him? 4-time 5-time world champion in 5 different weight classes, and he was undisputed in 3 of them. You know, they're both great. They both great in their own right, but I know as boxing fans, you know, people like to make comparisons and say which one is better and which one did which one better, and you know, in this different time frame. I don't like to compare fighters in different time and stuff like that. That's not what I like to do. Like I was telling you, I got a special guest coming on today, and we're gonna chop it up with him in a little bit. But yeah, like I was saying, you know, it's good with TC and him getting his love. But yeah, the comparison thing. I don't know if you gave Jonathan, you in there? You locked in? Can you hear me? I
Yeah, I
know.
can hear you. I'm getting my
Okay. How you doing, brother?
stand set right. That's all.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good, my brother. I'm glad that I got you locked in, man. It's actually a pleasure to have you on, man. I was supposed to have you on a while ago. But it's good that we can tap in and chop it up. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm good, man. No real complaints, not yet, at least.
I hear that. I hear that, man. Yeah, everybody, if you don't know, this is the nephew of the great George Foreman, you know? And if you don't know who George Foreman is, man, I with Rock, I don't know if you're gonna help me, Jonathan. If you're gonna help me pick up the Rock, because I don't know where they've been living at. If they don't
All
know
right,
who
man.
George Foreman is, you know what I'm saying? It's an icon in the sport that we love so much, you know. So definitely, we locked in. I had a question. I got a question for you. Um, I've been seeing a lot because I was just talking about TC and the love he's been getting. How they just did a parade for him in Omaha, and you know everybody's starting to make these comparisons between Terrence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. Um, I don't like it personally, but I know how boxing is. You know what I'm saying? What do you think? What do you think about the comparisons and the debate people is trying to make between who is better and that hoopla?
Um, hmm. I've seen it. I've seen all of them.
Hmm.
Um, let's get me down here to be right here. Oh man, I didn't want my background to be that, but okay, I guess it is. I can't help that. Um, the comparisons are gonna be there because it's new, right? Um, it's fresher. Floyd never left the limelight, kind of in the within the social media age. Floyd never left the limelight. Terrence Crawford is currently in the light because of the things that he's done to this point. The comparisons, however, they aren't fair because there's a lot of barriers that actually they are fair. The barriers that Floyd didn't have to have any barriers. HBO would have done many fights with Showtime back and forth. There wasn't a question mark about that. It wasn't the promoters back then. It was the networks choosing what they wanted to do and what they did not, what they did want and what they did not want. Nowadays, you have the promoters going back and forth with certain things like, nah, I don't want this guy or that guy. After them being able to get a chance to see um, promoters kept thinking it was the problem. Now, as it relates to them fighting comparison, who is better? The only even though I'm gonna say I myself would say Floyd is probably the most physically gifted fighter as far as like skill for skill, probably the most physically skilled and gifted guy I've ever seen in my life. And even in that, Roy Jones had natural talent, natural speed, natural power. There's a whole bunch of things that were like Roy Jones was more dynamic than Floyd as far as fighting, right? Um, Terrence Crawford, however, he does so many things correctly. Uh, it's hard to say Floyd was better, but in the sport, when we look at what you did in black and white, Terrence Crawford's better. That's that's the one way. Let me go and put my phone on do not disturb before I get to that point. Uh, I just realized what they just started texting me, so I uh-uh. Excuse me. Yeah, but as it relates, Floyd might have been the greatest fighter I've ever seen. But if we're talking about a sport who's purely built on black and white, what can you tangibly say this person did? I do get some of the critics of who did they fight, who did they beat. Um, a lot of that is not in the control of Terrence. Terrence Crawford has done a lot of this from the B side perspective, if everybody wants to say. A lot of the things that he started, I mean, he didn't get a chance. I mean, once he got to the, 147, he was willing to be B side for that point and moving on to those things. But he had to do a lot of, okay, I got to take this fight just to get this. Okay, take that fight to get that. Cool. All of his, outside of the Madrimal fight, um, he was obviously the A side against the Evanesian, B side against Spence, and B side against Canelo, right? But he has been willing to do all of that from that B side, and that's what makes it a lot different. So the comparisons of who is better, you're gonna when 10 more years from now, they're gonna say Terrence Crawford is better, and that's just personal opinion. That's what boxing is. But nobody's gonna be wrong in that aspect. Nobody will be wrong in saying Terrence Crawford was the better fighter because of what Terrence Crawford did, as far as it relates to him being in the same comparison as Roberto Duran now, right? Here we are, 135-pound man who went up to be undisputed. This alarm is going off, 100 is disputed. Um, Undisputed at 140, undisputed at 147. Oh, then he goes to fights 154, wins a title just like Roberto beat Davey Moore, I want to say, if I can't remember correctly. Beats Davey Moore. Then he finally goes up and beats Iran Barkley at 168 pounds. And the blade wasn't no joke, right? Um, Canelo ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? So the comparisons is where we're talking about Roberto Duran has been people's highest rated fighter for a long time between their time. That's the thing. I think that's the thing that people don't really comprehend. A lot of times, casual boxing doesn't comprehend. Yeah, Roberto Duran lost to guys, but yet people still rank him above those guys that he lost to in all time. So
Yeah,
that's what ends up happening here. Let me
yeah,
go cut this off because this thing is pissing me off.
nah, nah, I totally agree. I totally agree with you, brother. And people forget Duran. He is actually every fighter's favorite fighter. You know, yeah. That shout out to Roberto Duran. Definitely got to give him his flowers. Actually, we did a segment where we gave Roberto Duran his flowers on one of the shows. Man, definitely a warrior of the sport. Um, Yeah, definitely. I think that boxing fans will be boxing fans, and the comparisons will come, when, like you said, it's fresh. So everybody's looking for, the next big thing or whatever there is. Um, in other news, there was other news, Jonathan, and around boxing that got everybody going crazy right now.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, before I get to that, right? Because I've been asking people the same question. What do you want to see next from Terrence Crawford after he just beat uh, Saul Canelo Alvarez, which I thought who would win, right? Because I'm old school, man. I thought that they made weight classes for a reason, right? But I did say a disclaimer was, because I was 55-45 on this, right? So I was like, my disclaimer was that if anybody can do it, TC can do it. And he happened to do it, Um, where does TC go from here?
Hmm. Uh, Wherever he wants to go. I think he's gonna. Hmm, how do I word this? Unfortunately, he's gonna get the same. No matter what he does, is gonna be the criticism, the negative criticism. Literally, no matter what this man does now, he's gonna get a negative criticism as it relates to anything. They're gonna say, "Oh, but he could have fought this person." Is no matter what he do, because if he decides to go down in the weight class and then he says, "All right, you know what? Let me get that Janabek fight. Janabek got 2 belts. All right." and then Adames pulls up, he beats Adames. Let's just say that. They'll say he ran from everybody in 168 after he beat Canelo. Okay? Ignoring the fact that he might go get 2, 3 belts at 160 pounds and build it. Okay.
Yeah.
But you have the current naysayer. That's why you have fans, right? Let's stop to the top of the bottom. Let me explain. This is how I look at boxing as a whole. You got the promoters.
Mm-hmm.
You got networks. Take that back. You got networks. Then you got promoters. Then you got fighters. And then you got coaches. And then you got fans. Right? Well, you got coaches. Then you got media. You got media. Then you have the writers. And then you got the fans. The fans are always at the bottom, but it's a mass majority of fans more than it is of everybody else, right? Fans noise is going to out try right now. Fans noise right now is going to criticize no matter what he does. But the writers, see, these are the people who live for the longevity in the black and white. The writers and then the media. Those people think writers and media are the same. No. It's the reason why it's the Boxing Writers Association. Yeah, there are some of those guys are. If you look at whoever's actually votes in the Boxing Writers Association, a lot of those guys aren't media guys either. They're literally boxing writers. They're journalists. They do their job and they mind their business. Those are the people who, at the end of the day, have the say-so for where a fighter goes as it relates to Hall of Fame and things of that nature. So it's going to be up to the writers. Just like, unfortunately, the older Floyd gets, the more the writers won't like him. That's one of those things. And the more the writers won't like Floyd in the same sense that the writers will love Manny Pacquiao because Manny Pacquiao pulled it out the same way. I'm actually on record saying this. I'm going to have to find a podcast, my guy I did it on. I think back in like 2015, 2016. And I was like, yeah, I won't like it, but somebody's going to go down. It's going to be Manny Pacquiao. But I spoke from obviously watching Pacquiao. I know there were better fighters than Pacquiao. I knew that. However, it was what's going to be written. The facts are going to be written. And when you write the facts out and you line up somebody else's facts, oh, man, that's not really, even when you look at Floyd's Hall of Fame thing, and I get criticized for this too. It's impossible for a fighter to be 21 world champions straight without being undisputed. The WBA had a lot of those belts, right? WBA Gold, WBA Super, WBA Interim. So when Floyd said a lot of times he beat 21 champions straight, when you go back and look at those records of what belts they fought for, if you got 4 or 5 different fights in the same weight class, how you beat a champion in 4 or 5 fights each time, right? But those are the things that the writers point out. That's the only reason I had to think about it, outside of trying to be a fan, even though I knew it. It's kind of like, you can't really do it. So, whatever Crawford chooses to do, he can do. If he chooses to say, I'm good, and especially now that we got news that Canelo injury, he's going to have surgery. Man, if he decides to go home, cool. He earned that right.
Yeah. Definitely. I like that answer.
I know that was long, but
No,
it's a hard way to,
bro, you were
it's a hard
cooking.
way to explain it.
You was cooking. You know what I'm saying? Usually, if it's something's boring, I'll cut somebody off, my brother. But you was cooking. You was cooking, and it was real insightful. Another thing that's been getting the Twitter going crazy and boxing heads going crazy around the world. Tank announced after his fight with Jake, he's going to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everybody's going crazy about this. Everybody's losing their mind about Gervonta Tank Davis saying that, this is it for him. He said he's done. He don't want no more after this. He gave the sport what he wanted to. And he's saying he's done. How do you feel about Tank saying that, this is it? This is it for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you feel about that? What's up, Mr. Word?
As a fight fan and fighter, there this 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 doesn't hurt me today, but it hurts the sport long road. Um, and it'll never hurt me for a fighter choosing $8 over that. So I get it. I think you know me well. I've always speak to the advancement of the integrity of, let me say integrity, the structure of the sport. I always speak from the structure of the sport to how to keep the sport where it's at or to keep it going, right? I don't like anything to necessarily do something to bring down the sport. So every time Tank, when they ask Tank these questions, oh, he'll go say, oh, screw boxing. Boxing ain't loyal. Boxing ain't. Actually, boxing is extremely loyal if you're loyal to boxing.
Yeah.
If you're loyal to boxing, boxing doesn't have any issues with you. It's when you stop that part, um, that's the issue. But what I don't want is these kids. It's kind of disheartening because I just want to know when he lost it, right? That's what I want to know. I want to know when specific did the loss come in from him, because he can get on these microphones now in these interviews and tell us, oh, he didn't never want to be the greatest fighter, because that's a lie.
Yeah.
Nobody does any of that, especially for the time frame that he's done it for. To sit there and say, yeah, you know the money's gonna come if you keep winning, if you stay dedicated to those things, right? But you cannot tell me that at a point in time he did not see himself wanting to be one of the greatest fighters of all time. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm hurt at.
Yeah, I think because I said this before on the show, and we're gonna get back to the question that I asked you. I seen it, and I seen it happening a little before the Roach fight. You know what I'm saying? Even with the Frank Martin fight, I seen a little bit of it where he started talking about, you know, the
The
stuff,
retirement and all
the
that. Yeah,
retirement,
yeah, yeah.
and the stuff about the outside stuff with his children and wanting to seek help and wanting to go to a therapist, and you know what I'm saying, and I was concerned. I was concerned then. I was like, yo, this is not good. You know what I'm saying? Because I've always looked at the history of fighters, and every time a fighter always talk about having one foot in, one foot out, not having the same type of love for the sport, they end up losing or they end up getting hurt. Something bad ended up happening. And I was seeing that with Tank. I think Tank used to love this. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I think he used to love the sport, but I think that everything that came with it made him fall out of love with the sport. And then with wanting to be number one, everybody wanted to be number one. We used to hear him say that. And then we used to hear him say, oh, yeah, I am the number one. I am the face. We heard him say he was the face of boxing before.
Correct.
You dig what I'm saying?
That's
But
why I say
then,
I want to know when he lost it. That's
yeah,
the thing I got. When did you
when
lose
you
it?
start getting treated like the face of boxing, can you handle it?
Can you handle that? Right. Because there are expectations that go along
It's
with that.
expectations, and then you're always under the microscope. You can't do nothing wrong. You got to slip up, and you got to be able to take it. You got to be able to take it. That's why, like Mr. Neutral was saying, that's why Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Like Floyd was, you look at what Floyd was able to do. It's hard for some people to be able to do it.
Right.
That's why some
If
people take
Floyd
time.
had to do it, it's
Yeah,
unfortunately the same way.
yeah.
Where
Some
he
people
went
can
to
do it. Some
jail. He had the domestic violence case. He went
Mhm.
like he was convicted. He went to jail for those things. So
Exactly.
there. So it's not like but Floyd had to eat that and keep
Yeah.
rolling.
But
You
some
know,
people are not built like that. We done seen
correct.
casualty tales of fighters who get that one loss, or they got stuff going on outside it, and they just never the same ever again. You know what I'm saying? And I think that with Tank, I just think that just the too much everybody can't handle that pressure. Everybody can't handle it. And then, you know what I'm saying? I just think he wasn't, some people are not strong enough to handle the pressure of being number one, like Canelo, like to do the things like a Canelo or TC to be able to block certain things out.
I agree.
It takes
That's
a
why
different skill
I
set.
kind of started to figure that out, that he can't handle. He talks, he wants, what comes with it, but he doesn't want everything that comes with it. And
Exactly.
it got to me at that point, uh, figuring that out with his social media use. I want to say about three years ago. Me and a couple of my other friends were discussing this probably about before I actually started covering boxing. We were talking about that. I was like, I don't think he can. I don't know that boy can handle that. And that's not to say that Tank's a weak person at all. I don't think
Hmm.
he's a weak person at all because it takes a very strong fortitude man to get in that ring. The thing is when you get to that mountain, you realize how few of y'all at that mountain, but then you like, well, why everybody looking at, but why everybody looking up at me? Why y'all like he got to say, y'all need to stay out of our personal lives, brother. You on a mountain, we looking up.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
it's
he
only
let
a
it down.
few of y'all up there.
That's what happens when you number one. That's
When
what
you
happens
up
when you
there.
ask for this. Yeah, when you up there, they want to look into everything. They want to know everything. You know what I'm saying? It's not just boxing when you number one. Everybody happened to everybody. Floyd, Muhammad Ali, everybody had their personal life put out there. When you're number one, it comes with the sport. You know what I'm saying? So back to the question at hand about when he announced his retirement. I said, better him do that than to get hurt.
Absolutely. I'm the one for sure to tell you. Man, I was only what, 9 fights in, and I was like, I had my daughter. I was like, oh, I realized I wasn't as tough no more. I wasn't as there was something missing, in the middle of that. Some fighters, it turns them up a different way. They're like, okay, cool. So some fighters, they stay the same. Some fighters end up going down. It's not a skill thing, it's just something you're missing, or sometimes it's something you gain. And it's not nothing you necessarily have control over. And so either one, you got to figure out which one it is. I realized, like, hey boy, you ain't really going like you see the punch, and I punch, and I tell you for sure, I punched like a demon kick, but it did not matter because I knew I was pulling something off the punch. I
Yeah,
knew for a fact I was pulling something off the punch. So if I'm not putting everything into the punch, that's potential for me to get hurt, and it
yeah,
did. That's what ended up happening for that last fight. All right, bro, I got put down. I was like, shh. Yeah, bro, you ain't have that extra no more. And
yeah, yeah.
that's okay to walk away from it before it gets real damaging to you.
Because you can't play boxing. You don't play
There's
boxing.
no such thing as playing. I can go toss a football. You throw hands outside, it's gonna turn into something. That's why you can't do it.
Yeah. You don't play boxing. You don't play boxing. So that's why when he announced his retirement, I wasn't too mad. I wasn't too mad. I was like, yo, it's rather him go out here and say I'm gonna retire. And I heard he's making up from to 40 to 50 M's for this fight. So yeah, I wasn't mad. That
No,
he
never,
decided.
never mad at the money.
Yeah,
Never.
never. Yeah, I wasn't mad. I was at first. Um, I was mad at the fight. But here's the thing: they're talking about should we be taking this fight seriously? Though, like this fight with at first I thought it was like some circus event, but now that I heard that they got the judges and this is really going to be a real winner, and they got a $2 million bet on the line, should we be taking this fight seriously, or is this still a joke fight?
It's it's still serious because it's still a fight,
Hmm.
right? The other part of that is, um, the other thing about that is, you've been in the boxing gym, right?
Yep, yep,
Okay,
yep.
all right. How many times have you seen a 125, 130 pound kid beat the hell out of a light heavyweight?
Never.
I have. I have.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I've
have.
never, I've
I
never.
have.
Yo, you know what? That's why
I
I'm
have.
always big on
I
weight
got one.
sizes, because I got a chance to spar smaller guys, and I can actually feel the weight, especially if you're in the clinch or
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah. You
moving the
can
guy.
feel the weight.
You can feel the
You can
weight.
feel the weight difference. However,
Oh, they're
you ain't stop.
faster.
You ain't
Yeah,
stopping
yeah,
those punches from
yeah.
coming.
You ain't stopping the
That's the
fact. Yeah, I,
difference.
I give you that. I give you. Yeah, you
You
know what
ain't
I'm saying?
stopping
They're
them punches
faster.
from
Yeah,
coming though.
yeah, they
That's the thing
faster.
about it. I've been in gyms where I've
Mhm.
seen the 135-pound guy get in the ring with a light heavyweight or a cruiserweight
Oh
or
yeah,
something,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And be
and
faster them and tag
and
them up.
be and be tagging them the whole time,
Huh?
right? Because that is how that's boxing, right? When they say weight classes for a reason, that yes, weight is a thing. Don't get me wrong, weight is a thing. Along with that, the speed is different at certain levels when you get there. That man is fast, super fast for a light heavyweight. He ain't fast for a lightweight though.
Exactly. Yeah.
All of a sudden he looked like he throwing in slow motion, and everybody like, "Golly, what's going on? He was faster than this." No, he is fast as he is, but that man and that's just different. So you're gonna even see Tank's, you're gonna see Tank's speed on display. And Tank is fast regardless of,
Mhm.
well, let me say this, Tank's twitchy. He has very good reflexes, very good reflexes. But you'll be able to see how the fast difference of hand speed is going to be on display as it relates to the fight. So it's still a fight, and Jake could mess around and land one punch, and that could be it.
Yeah, like it's a fight. Like you gotta land one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so and Jake is a big boy, you know. But yeah, like you say, you know, you're right. I wasn't thinking about when you first asked me, but yeah, that's right. They do be quicker and they do be getting off. I'm just thinking once they do land, though,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
correct.
saying?
They
Once
gonna
they
take that
do,
one. He gonna take that one, and he gonna back up for sure.
mhm.
He gonna take that one. He's gonna back up. You know, he'll think about it for a minute or two. He'll laugh in the ring to kind of shake it off to get his head back together and stuff, and then he'll go right back to it every single time. My little brother, his name is, we call him Sniper, Dondre Haynes. I've seen they'll bring cats in the, when I was in real shape, 2015, 2016, 2017, crazy shape, and they would bring Roscoe Hill. His son is on the Olympic team and all the other sons. Roscoe, but then I don't like Roscoe. He still knows this to this day. He was George. He helped out my uncle when George was on the comeback because he was small, had fast hands, and George worked with him. That's how George kept up, being able to keep up with the younger guys. George kept little guys with him all the time. He'd only work defense. He wouldn't punch him. He'd only work defense with him, move around, work his hands, stuff like that. But anyways, they used to bring in guys. Um, Heavyweight guy Roscoe would bring in guys. And then like sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, he can get in the ring with John John." Okay, cool. And then I get in the ring with him, and I'm trying to break every bone they got in their body, and just because I don't like him, simple as that.
Mhm.
And then, or they'll sit there and say, "Oh, we'll put him in there with Sniper," and we all end up laughing. I'm like, all right, because I know what's finna happen. You know what I'm saying? Me and Sniper sparred together consistently, so I know what my little brother could take, and I know what he gonna dish him back too. So it's kind of like, and he was strong. He walks around at his weight, super strong. I mean, he might walk around 5 pounds heavy, even still to this day. That's why you see me talk bad about fighters and
Mhm.
their commitments to their weight classes or lack thereof, because I know you're not committed, because I watched this kid since, let's see, I came on 24. I watched this kid since 2014, 2015 fight at 135 pounds for 10 years. You know, that's the commitment. So yeah, he's been that strong and that lap for that long to be fighting and fighting people. So Tank gonna get his off on Jake. He'll probably end up hitting him with a body shot is what's gonna happen.
And that's what you think he can drop him with a body shot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
for
think.
sure.
Yeah, I think he can get him out.
He's not
Um,
gonna overreach it at all.
you know, a guy that everybody, you know, feels got the raw end of this whole ordeal, Lamont Roach. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? He is playing to be fighting Pitbull Cruz December 6th or December 20th on pay-per-view. What do you think about that fight? Do you think that's a good fight? I actually think it's a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Pitbull
Oh,
gave
it's
all
gonna
he
it's
can, and so did Lamar Roach. So I think that this is a good fight, you know, and both guys are gonna come out fighting. Who do you think about this fight? And
it's
who do
gonna
you
be a
think?
good it's gonna be a good fight for 5 rounds.
Mm,
For 5 rounds, it'll be a good fight. But Lamont is a boxer. It's a reason why it's a reason why Isaac Cruz has not fought boxers, right? It literally is a reason. He's turned down fights with everybody that tried to get in the ring with him from this point. Besides Lamont right now, because PBC needs to do something to keep the Amazon deals going and stuff like that. Lamont Roach is a hot name. Pitbull Cruz is always entertaining, bring fans, so there's nothing wrong
mm,
with that at that point. But that's what this is. But we're finna see exactly why Pitbull would not fight Shakur when Shakur wanted to fight him. He did not want to fight Teofimo when Teofimo wanted to fight him. He did not fight Devin Haney when Devin Haney was asking to fight him. They were. It's not like anything I'm saying that all three of these teams sent that man contracts and they was like, we good, leave that alone, right? That's the thing that made me question, not question it, but it just this is how boxing marketing works, right? If Pitbull was the warrior that they all say he was, he would have took those fights like Fernando Vargas took those fights when Fernando Vargas didn't necessarily have to take those fights. Fernando Vargas could have went and fought other folks, but he chose not to. He said, I'm gonna go get busy with the champions, and that's why he only lost to
To
the
the champions.
champions. That's it. He only lost to the champions. Shane Mosley twice, De La Hoya, was it
Trinidad.
Tito?
Trinidad.
Like, hey, if I go home and I got only losses from champs on my record, hey, bro, that's a good day. That's a good day. And he was respected because he did it the hard way, you know.
Yeah, everybody love the ferocious one, Fernando Vargas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that fight's coming up, and I think it's going to be a good fight too, man. It's going to be a tough fight for the first couple of rounds because Pitbull's coming with everything but the kitchen sink. But to me, Pitbull fights the same way.
Correct. That's why I say I give it the same fight for the first. It's good fight for the first 5 rounds.
Yeah.
But then that's after that, he can get. He has to set his feet every single time.
Mm-hmm.
He has to set his feet. His guard has to be high up. So if you get him in a place where if you get him in a place of movement, it's not going to happen. Because anytime he does throw outside of his movement, he's off balance and he leans to the left. Actually, is what that is. He's falling off to the left because he throws heavy with that right. So he's falling off to the left that way. So I've seen it multiple times over what happens, but he's just gonna take that, and then everybody's gonna call the fight boring. Towards the end, they're gonna say Lamar didn't want to exchange. The same thing they called Devin Haney. Say he didn't want to exchange. No, he studied his opponent and he neutralized him. For the things that he does do, he looked at every piece of one punch and is gonna neutralize him. I guarantee it.
Yeah, Earl Spence fans, because of Earl Spence, alluding to returning to the ring. Earl Spence been alluding that he's going to return to the ring. If he does, who do you think you'll see him in there with? And do you even want to see him in there again? Me personally, and you know what I'm saying? People just say I'm getting softer in my older age. But me, I don't want to see Earl in there again. I think the last time we seen him, even before that, the way he was looking, I just feel like, if money is not an issue, like he said, money's not an issue, why not just, spend that time on that big old farm with those beautiful children you got? You know what I'm saying? And go relax.
Big old farm got taxes. Big old farm got taxes.
Big old farm got taxes.
Let me tell you something. George never stopped working all the way to the end, right? Until he finally got sick the last 2 years before he died. 70, what was George? 70, 76. So up until 73, 74, 74 years old, dog, he didn't stop working. It just is what it was. It just is what it was. Because you know why? It's a 1,500 acre ranch out in Marshall, Texas. That's why. So you got to keep it going. Some taxes don't pay themselves, regardless of the best lawyers you got in the world. We got livestock, we got everything else in the world for the write-offs and all that. Taxes still got to get paid. That ain't gonna matter. And Texas has some of the highest property taxes there is across the country. Taxes still got to get paid. It is what it is. But Earl was fine. Earl was down at Duncanville. He's down here in Duncanville. Earl's better off than what people think. He took his time off, respectfully earning it. So because if you think about the guys, the Olympians, which Earl was, they've had to dedicate all of their time in their life for years to get to that point. That's not an accidental point. You don't stumble your way up on the Olympics unless you're George Foreman. You don't stumble your way upon the Olympics. So he took his time off. Okay, cool. Took a couple of years off. Cool. It's not as bad as people think. Now, does he fight the same way when he comes back? No. because you're a little bit older. You can't move once you want, but you figure out what you can do, and you hyper focus that. The same reason, same thing Mama did. Okay, I can't do this no more, but what can I do? I can't do this. Oh, you right. Let me go figure it out. This is where you find out a fighter's real game, right? This is how you find out a fighter's real game. So I think I do want to see Earl back in the ring. I do.
Against who?
Against, they both been close out to the same time. I take him against him and Charlo straight out. I take it.
Okay.
I take it. I take it straight out against him and Charlo. Or
Pay-per-view?
Not pay-per-view. That's the
You
thing.
know they're going to throw it on pay-per-view.
Yeah, they are, but I don't think that's one to throw on pay-per-view. It's going to be big no matter where they put it. Well, if they did fight, it'll be here in Dallas, simply because Earl's a bigger draw here in Dallas than the Charlos could ever be in Houston, unfortunately. And that's not a knock to him. It just is what it is. Even though that's my city, I love them. The times they did fight at Toyota Center, it did not sell well. But when Earl fight here in the Cowboy Stadium, oh, it's a house.
Yeah,
There's a house in there, you know. So it's one of those things as it relates to that.
Right, we about to get to the big boys. All right. Anthony Joshua is eager to get back in the ring. He tells people, and there's a chance he could fight this year, according to his promoter and friend, Eddie Hearn. If that's the case, who would you want to see him in there with? Me, after a little touch-up against a nobody, I would love to see him get back against Daniel Dubois. You know what I'm saying? I was mad over that fight. I didn't think Daniel Dubois had a chance, to be honest with you. I thought that AJ was going to go in there, he was going to knock the boy out, and he wasn't even going to celebrate. I came on the air and I was telling everybody that I was talking mess, like there's levels and all this other stuff. And Daniel Dubois went in there and, beat AJ, And I was like, damn, I just think AJ fought the wrong fight. I thought it would have been a straight to rematch. You know what I'm saying? Like
he took the wrong approach to it, is what it was.
Yeah.
He had Dubois hurt in the corner, and he rushed it.
Yeah.
And when he rushed it, he got clipped. Man.
The same thing happened in the Andy Woo-wee. He was going in for the kill.
Rushed it. And that was it. Got the knockdown and said, "Oh, I'm good. I'm finna go in there and get it." But he put me down. Oh, okay, all right. Well, let me get back up. Let me get right. Oh, he did it again.
Because he did the same thing again, winning in for the kill.
I respect it because that shows you who he is on the internal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the fan in me is still like, God dog it, boy. But he's a global ambassador for boxing, man. And he's a huge star away from boxing. So whoever he fights, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? I understand he's not who he was, and that's perfectly fine with me. But I'll take it just because of the ambassador to boxing that he is. The same thing I was talking about as it relates to Tank earlier. AJ knew he was probably going to eventually be number one in a face or something of that nature, which is true. It's only a few people at that level, and AJ is one of them. But he was okay with being there. Like that, for the longest, they would have to tell AJ to not take this interview. Hey, bro, you can't be out here talking this long, bro. What you doing? But he understood what came with being number one. So I always love to see the number ones be out there and be global ambassadors. That's kind of like, that's masculine. That's what was it? I'm a masochist for some pain like that, even though I hate it. But yeah, he can try to get back with Dubois. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Also, other news going on. Everybody's really been high on this other young man in boxing right now. I'm actually trying to find a young man's picture if I can. There's so much stuff going on in here. But yeah, everybody's been high on the young man Moses. The young man Moses. There you go, right there. Frank Warren has confirmed that Moses Atama and Derek Chisora are set to fight in separate bouts on the same show on December 13th in Manchester. And a lot of people are saying that this fight that they're doing is going to lead into a fight with them two guys fighting. What do you think? Yeah. You know, they're trying to make this young man the lion, the old man slayer, the legend old man slayer. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about that fight? If they say, because they fight on the same card, they saying they're gonna probably try to, a lot of fans are speculating that they're gonna try to put him and Derek Chisora in the ring together.
Well, we gotta hope that
Dillian
Derek
White
Chisora.
situation.
You gotta hope that Derek Chisora won't even retire after that one fight on that undercard as well. Even after that,
Yeah.
that's what you gotta hope for. Uh, he knows he's been at the end of his career. He knows that. So you mess up by not getting, especially with them turning down the IBF eliminator with Frank Sanchez today. Um, that's I guess. I mean, you were trying to get him to Mike Tyson's record at one point, and now you threw it out the window. And if that's the case, then don't try to do this, right? Just don't. I'm also, I'm. A, some people are gonna hate this. It is what it is. I do know Moses is good, but I don't see what everybody else sees in Moses yet. That's just simply it. It's just me personally. I could be 100% missing something, but as of right now, as far as it looks like a heavyweight, I know the game is changing. I don't see it yet. That's me. But incredible talent though for what
Yeah.
he for what's been in front of him. He's been there. It is. He's been good for what's been in front of him to this point. And I still say my man's took a dive the last time we saw Moses, but
You said
um,
Dillian White took a dive?
my man's took a dive
Or did the
after
ref, or did you think the ref stopped the fight prematurely?
multiple things can be true at one time. I
Yeah.
will I will fall on that sword forever
Mhm.
because
I thought
we've
he still could have continued.
we've never seen Dillian White like that. And you're telling me that all of a sudden Dillian White was in shape, lost the weight, looked great, and everything else like that. And you're telling me that now that was it.
You know what? I said the same thing. I said that the ref didn't give. I think that was just a flash knockdown, and then the ref should have gave him a chance to continue. You know what I'm saying? And get the cobwebs. I think going into the next round, it would have been a different fight, and we got a chance to see what Moses was really made of, or got a chance. I think he still probably would have won, but I think it would have got a chance to see what he was really made of. You know what I'm saying? But I think the ref stopped it too prematurely for me. You know what I mean?
He was letting them hit him in the body, and we ain't never seen nobody just let him hit him. That's my thing. You watch it when you like look at the things that Moses was doing, and
Mhm.
look at what Dillian White was not doing, and you just letting them have it. And then you look at other Dillian White fights, and you like all of a sudden you don't move out the way, you don't block the same way no more. Like what happened all of a sudden? Like now you ain't doing it. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. But I do know I'm gonna have to agree. Who was this neutral down here? I'm gonna
yeah. He
have to
said people
agree.
calling Otama a duck for not taking the IBF eliminator for Usyk
I,
far too early for Usyk to make
I'm
him
not.
lose coach and
Yeah,
start
I'm not
on
gonna lie. He
Moses.
get in that ring with Usyk, that might screw him up mentally. In all honesty, that might
Mhm.
screw him up. I've said
Yeah.
that. I think
It's
because
way too soon for going in there with a guy like Alexander Usyk, man. I think
you're
this
gonna figure out that your physical gifts don't mean much of shit no more.
guy,
That's what you're gonna figure out. Once you
yeah,
figure that out, that's painful.
yeah. And you take a bad loss. Some people a lot like right because people take this is only doesn't happen a lot of times. Some people be thinking that an undefeated young fighter will learn something when he get in there with a champion. The champion puts a whooping on him and stuff. That's once in a blue moon. That's once in a Canelo. Sometimes fighters are not the same again after getting in there with a fighter and then putting them balls on him.
And
So
getting hands and feet put on them. That was
yeah,
it. Getting
it's a
hands
whole
and feet put on them.
definitely. Some of these guys will never, ever, ever recover, and they haven't. the Rain magazine asked a good question. You know what I'm saying? And as we're winding down, and first of all, I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart, man, for tuning in to this episode of the Commissioner's Recap. I know I started an hour late. You know, I was at a funeral today. My brother Wills, he lost his mother. So I want to say another condolence out to them and much love to my brother Wills. I love you so much, bro. You already know what it is. But yeah, and we started late, but I got the wonderful brother in here, Jonathan Foreman. And I've been trying to get him on the show for a while now, but we finally got a chance to lock in, and hopefully we get a chance to lock in again because I got some other questions that I want to ask him pertaining to boxing, the heavyweight division, and his uncle. So we're going to have a personal interview with me and him just locking in on another time as well. So once again, I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Jonathan, for coming out and chopping it up with me, man. It really means a lot, man. I really appreciate it. Before we get out of here, like I said, the Ring magazine, they had asked a question. They said, and a good question at that. It said, "This coming to the end of the year, 2025. Which fights stand out for you? Like, which fights are you looking forward to close out this year?"
Devin Haney and Brian Norman. Simple as that. That's it. Devin Haney and Brian Norman. Don't get me wrong. Even on that card, while Bam is on that card, who else?
Yeah, you got David
Bam is on that.
Benavidez.
Oh, I wasn't even looking while I was talking. My bad.
Yeah, they got David Benavidez on that card versus
I know Benavidez is on there. That's gonna go how it goes.
Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes.
Right. Abdullah Mason's fighting for his first belt.
Yeah,
even though that's a fantastic thing, I'm not taking that from him. But the only fight that kind of matters in respect is Devin Haney and Brian Norman. Devin Haney is going it once again to do the same thing he's always said. I pull up or shut up. You feel me? Like it pull up or shut up. And it's more so if he goes out there and he wins that belt at 140 for his second fight at welterweight, you know, hey, he done what he said he was gonna do. I'm gonna be a 3-division champion by the age of 27 years old. Okay, you can't even argue. All right, there's nothing else to argue. Again, we're gonna go back to the point of talking about what you're gonna do in black and white. The black and white. At the end of the day, when they print them books, what did this man do? Hey, he did all this. Oh, all right. How old was he when he did it? He was 27. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and call it.
Yeah, it was just saying that's the fight. But it is a tall order, don't you think? You think it's a tall order against
Brian Norman? No. I don't think it's as tall as an order as people think because of stylistically things. Not to say that Brian Norman is a hell of a puncher, and I ain't lying. He's a good puncher. But from what we've seen Brian Norman his past couple fights, when he does fight boxers, he does struggle, right? And Devin Haney and his dad, the one thing nobody can say about Devin Haney is that no matter how bad they want to talk about the Ryan Garcia fight every single time, the one thing that nobody can say is those men do not game plan for their fighter perfectly. Because yes, Devin Haney got knocked down by Ryan Garcia most of the time. The rounds he did not get knocked down in, he beat the hell out of Ryan Garcia in those rounds. It just is what it was. And that's okay. Multiple things can happen within a 12-round fight. He got knocked down, he got back up, and he went back to boxing. You know,
I mentioned that in the interview that I did with Brian Norman Sr. Anybody, if y'all didn't get a chance to see it, please go check that out when you get the opportunity. Me and yours truly, Trey, we banged that out with Brian Norman Sr. And he got a lot of respect for Devin. Obviously was shocked. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when we mentioned 3 names, we mentioned Boots, we mentioned Devin, and we mentioned Bill Haney. And out of all those names, the one he had the most respect for was Devin. You know, and we mentioned the fact of, you know, he got up. You know what I'm saying? People talk about not having the chin, but he got up after being knocked down by a guy who was on PEDs. You know what I'm saying? So he got up. Devin showed the heart of a warrior both times. I had two concerns. My first time when I first heard this fight, I thought, yeah, Brian Norman can punch in like a mule kicks, right? And I was saying that, but I felt that Devin can. I made a joke. I said Devin can run away with the victory, right? Meaning that I think that Devin can box him. He can outbox him. I think the fight might not be pretty. I think, but he can do a Ramirez and win every round, and he can actually win.
That's what people are. I think that's what people aren't catching. I caught that from moment one watching the fight. I
Yeah.
said, "Oh, this man studied Jose Ramirez perfectly." They checked Jose Ramirez's feet set. They studied his feet setting,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore he knew every time he saw those feet set, he could feint, and he knew Ramirez was going to drop, therefore freezing his hands every single time. And he figured that out for 12 rounds. People don't realize how meticulous you are having to study your opponent to watch every little thing that you can take advantage of. That right then and there is something that's the way. Isn't people call the fight boring, but ain't nobody say Devin Haney lost that round in that fight either.
True indeed. And then on the other flip side, I had the thing where I thought that the fight might get postponed. I figured that like we just had a comment in the comment section, and I told Mr. Neutral this as well. I had a feeling that this fight might get postponed. I think Devin might need a little bit more time. You know what I'm saying? With everything going on, because I seen that Devin's distractions. Devin, to me, like I mentioned in the interview with Brian Norman Sr., I said I felt like Devin's mind was elsewhere. I think his mind is still on Ryan Garcia and righting that wrong. And I don't think that, even though I think that he can prevail, I don't think this is a guy that you should be overlooking and be worried about other fights on the horizon. I think you need to be locked in, you know? So I think that he just needs to really focus in on Brian Norman Jr. and not everybody else.
I could agree there. However, if that's something, here goes the adverse effects of things that we talk about.
Mhm.
You got some fighters who talk about the next thing and end up losing the current thing in front of them. And then you have the rare cases where it's like, after I beat his ass, I'm gonna go beat you next, right? Um, those are the things that might push Devin for all we know. This might be exactly what Devin was waiting for. I need one more fight to get to this fool, and you not finna stop me from getting to this fool next. Might be what it is for Devin. It might be his motivation on how he trains.
Dope, yeah. We will have to see. We'll definitely have to wait and see. Once again, Jonathan, man, from the bottom of my heart, man, I just want to say thank you for chopping it up with your brother. I definitely got to get you back on, because I definitely got to have a real in-depth interview with you, man. There's a lot of questions that I wanted to ask you. We only got an hour to kick it today. Before we get out of here, though, I want to have a word from my D-Rock sponsors, because you know we got to pay the bills. So
Yeah,
before
you
we
gotta
get
pay
out,
the bills, my boy. Pay the bills. Pay the bills. Appreciate it.
yo, once again, man, yo, shout out to Jonathan Foreman, man, for coming through, man, and showing love, man. That was really dope, man. Shout out to the brother, man. I definitely got to get him on here again, because I need to talk to him about, you know, some more heavyweight questions, and definitely wanted to talk to him about his uncle, the great George Foreman. So shout out to that brother for coming on the show, man, and showing love, man. I really appreciate that. And shout out to everybody that tuned in today. Once again, I'm sorry that this episode was late. just left a funeral for my brother, you know, my real brother. You know what I'm saying? We got the same dad. Yeah, he lost his mom today. So I just, once again, I want to send love out to them and everybody. And from the bottom of my heart, man, everybody, thank you for locking in with your boy, man. It means a lot, man. I just come through and just chop it up and just talk boxing like it's just you and me, man. So I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. You know it's nothing but love. I'm out of here. It's your boy Trill.
You can get with this, or you can get with that. Come roll with the Trill, cause this is where it's at. I stepping through the front, got me lounging in the back, celebrating with the team, tell the DJ run it back. I've been getting money, ho, grinding with my kinfolk, riding in the Benzo, sitting on Lorenzos.